In today's video, our intern Claire is going to show you exactly how she made this wood burn sign using a custom Ikonart stencil and torch paste. She did a technique where after she burned her design, she wiped it down with a little bit of water to give it more of a wood burned look and a distressed look where you can see more color variation in the burning. One thing I love about torch paste is that after you burn it, it is completely flat against the wood. It's not raised at all. It's actually part of the wood. So if you want to see how Claire made this sign, keep watching.
So the first thing to do is, of course, make your stencil, and I will link a video down below that shows this process in more detail. But basically you just print your design, expose it with the exposure unit, rinse it out, and then dry it. And once it is completely dry, you just put it back under the light to post-expose it and make it a little bit more durable. And then you are ready to use your stencil. Today we're going to be using our blue stencil film. You could also use the purple. Both work great on wood and with torch paste. We're using the blue because we have this distressed font, and the boots both have a ton of detail, and our blue can hold slightly more detail than our purple, although our purple would work great too. All right, so then you just add your torch paste to your stencil the same way you would add paint or ink, and you pull it across. You want to use enough pressure that it's going through the mesh, but not so much pressure that it's going to buckle the stencil or cause bleed. Think of it kind of like buttering bread. And then you want to remove the excess. You don't want to leave too thick of a layer on there. You want just enough that went through the mesh. And then you reveal your design. We like to do this part very slowly to make sure that we didn't miss any areas of the design. So just lift your stencil off of your design, and if you did notice that you missed an area, you can very easily put your stencil back down and put more paste on. So you want to do that before you remove your stencil completely, which is why we go so slow when we do that part of the process. And then you're ready to burn. How fast your design burns will depend on a few factors. First, the type of wood you're using. This is a poplar wood and seems to burn a little slower than some of the other woods we've tried, but with a little patience, it still worked great. And then the other factor will be your heat gun. We use this Seek One heat gun that we have linked on our Amazon recommendations page, which I will put in the description below. And it's 1800 watts. We do recommend at least 1000 watts. And we use ours on the highest heat level possible. So we just keep our heat gun moving so that we don't burn the actual wood before the paste burns. So we just keep it moving around and continue to burn until the design is completely burned. And once you're happy with the way it looks, we can move on to the next step. So today Claire is going to be actually just distressing this with a little bit of water. So she put some water on a cloth and is just wiping her design down. So not only is that removing any excess parts that were burned that are still raised, it's also giving her design a little bit more of a distressed look where her wood burned areas will have a variation of color, and it actually ends up looking a little bit more wood burned that way versus just like brown paint or something like that. So at this point, you could leave it as is. You could add a little stain over the top if you wanted. You could add an oil directly over this if you were doing a cutting board, but we are going to embellish it slightly with just a little bit of unicorn spit gel stain, and Claire is hand painting on some red stripes, and then she will also add in a little bit of blue, and this just adds a touch of color to the design, totally optional of course, but I think it adds a really nice touch. And then after that, she just kind of blots it with a paper towel to get rid of any excess. And you can see that looks really nice. You can also see the color variation in the wood burn design that happens when you wipe it with the water. It looks really cool. And then we're going to take it one step further by adding a little bit of cutting board oil on top. So again, completely optional. You could also cover it with a stain or any other kind of clear sealant. We're using this cutting board oil. It just kind of seals in the design. And if you were making a cutting board, you could use this. This is food safe. And again, it's linked on our Amazon recommendations page. So it does change the color of the wood slightly, of course. It is an oil, but it just kind of makes those colors pop and looks really nice.
So that's all there is to it. As long as you have a little bit of patience to burn the sign with the torch paste, you can have custom wood burn signs using any artwork you want super easily with the Ikonart Custom Stencil Kit. If you have any questions about Ikonart, torch paste, or anything else related to using the Ikonart Custom Stencil Kit, let me know in the comments and have a great day.